Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Andrea. I am a very planty person and you are probably here today because you want to see some Anthurium. That's what today's video is going to be. I'm going to be showing every single Anthurium in my collection. I have 18, which I thought I had more, but as I wrote them down, I realized I think it feels like I have more because some of them are big. I think my Anthurium might be some of the biggest plants in my collection, so I'm very interested to show you guys that. But yes, I do have 18 to show you. I am an Anthurium lover. I've grown some of these from seed, from tiny little baby seedlings, and I'm going to show you what they look like today. So if you are new to this channel, hi, my name is Andrea, and I thank you for coming, and let's get into it. So yes, like I said, I did do a little prep for this video because if you haven't seen anything on my channel, I've only done one collection video so far, and it was my Hoya collection, which was my very first video that I posted on this channel, and I think it was a little bit chaotic because I had almost 40 Hoya and I did not rank them. I did not, organize them in any way. So it just felt a little chaotic in my opinion, but I only have 18 Anthurium. So that felt much more manageable for me to rank and do some, kind of research beforehand on, and I wanted to make sure, because if you know anything about Anthurium, you know that the names and like the hybrids can get a little confusing. At least in my opinion, they get a little confusing because I would not consider myself an Anthurium expert by any means. I don't really know much about the hybridizing process. I don't know that much about like the specifics of Anthurium. I just know what I like the look of. And so you'll see a lot of repeats. As I was writing them down, I realized there was a couple types of Anthurium that I have a lot of repeats of, and that's just because I like the look of them. So I'm very excited to show you guys my collection today. I would consider Anthurium to be definitely among my favorite genus of plants. I posted the Hoya video first because I think I had the biggest collection, and I was proven to be correct in that. I had 40 or almost 40, and I've bought more, so now I have 40 plus, but I only have 18 Anthurium, and that's because there have been a lot that have come in and out of my collection, and I have also unfortunately killed plenty of Anthurium, and I've definitely learned the care, my personal care, how I like to care for them, and I could talk about that throughout the video, but these are the ones that have stuck with me and I have learned and adapted to their growth needs. So I'm very excited to show them with you all. Some of them are quite small, so I have them ranked not in necessarily size, but they kind of go in that way because obviously I'm gonna like the bigger ones more because they've grown better for me, if that makes sense. So I like them more because they grow well. And like some of them I literally grew from seed and now they're ginormous. So obviously I'm gonna like those ones more, but I also have some small ones that I really enjoy as well. So I am so excited, and I think we should just get into it. I think for the first one, it is going to be fairly obvious as to why I do not like it. So let me show it to you right now. Meh, meh. It is pretty obvious as to why this is ranking number 18 last in my collection. This is an Anthurium King of Clarinervium, which I can post a picture somewhere. It is a very, very cool plant, and I absolutely love the look of it, but I have not had the best growth on mine, obviously, as you can see. It was looking good around this time last year, maybe, and it was pesty. So last spring, summertime, I had all my Anthurium outside because I don't have any sort of humidifier or anything to up the humidity in my house, and I live in Florida. So all my Anthurium were living outside because I figured that was the best way to make them grow happy. And they were, for the majority. I got a lot of growth outside, but I also got a lot of pest damage, and this was one that was destroyed by pests. There was a lot of them that I just kind of gave up on because the pest damage was so recurrent. I didn't love the plant enough to deal with the pest damage. But this is one that I did love enough to keep. So right now it is just a stump. I don't know if you can see it in there. It is alive. It's nice and hard. Like, I foresee this one coming back. If it doesn't, I might look into buying a new one and starting fresh, but yeah, I definitely think that the pest damage destroyed this one. I've only gotten a handful of leaves in the time that I've owned it. I did buy it very small to begin with, so maybe if I could look into buying a bigger one, I could bring it back into my collection, but I'm gonna see how this one does. So yes, this is number 18, the least favorite Anthurium in my collection for obvious reasons. The next one, it's so nice having my little list here. The next one on my list is Anthurium warocqueanum. This is my Anthurium warocqueanum. As you can see, she is just a tiny little baby, and I have had good times and bad times with this plant. I did rank it really low, like being one of my least favorites, because I don't like plants that are finicky. I really don't. I have too many plants in my collection to be dealing with really finicky plants. So this is definitely what I would consider to be a finicky plant, and I'm just getting pretty tired of it. Like, I have it look really good and then it starts to go downhill and I have to cut all the leaves off. I've done this like 3 or 4 times now, honestly. I got this maybe a couple years ago, and I probably got leaves to be like this big, and then they all just got yellow and died. If you have any tips on how to care for this plant, please let me know. The only way I have gotten these leaves is to have a humidity dome on it, and I've gotten these leaves to come back out, so I'm happy with that. I'm thinking about repotting it just to see, because I do think that this is an offshoot of the old plant. I can see the stump, and then this is an offshoot. So I'm thinking of planting it into something smaller. I'm not sure how the root system is looking down here. I don't see very many roots on the outside, so I think my game plan might be to extract this and get it into a much smaller nursery pot and kind of keep an eye on it from there. But yeah, unfortunately, if you have tips, please let me know, because this one does not agree with me. Sorry if it looks different, my battery died, so I had to replace it. I only talked about 2, my battery already died, so buckle up because I have a lot of yapping to do. But yeah, this is number 17, second to last in my collection, unfortunately. It's just not one that I could see myself keeping in the long run unless I can finally figure out the care. One thing I was thinking about doing was putting it in semi-hydro. You'll see throughout my collection I do not have any Anthurium in semi-hydro. It's just something I've never tried. I would be interested in trying it for this one just so I can kind of get the watering figured out. So that might be something that I do with this one. So yeah, Anthurium warocqueanum, second to last in my collection. The thing about my collection that is hard to categorize for a collection video is that I have a lot that I do not know the ID of. So like I said, I live here in Florida, and we have a store, or a nursery, I guess, called Ecuagenera. If you are a plant person, especially an Anthurium person, you've probably heard of Ecuagenera. It's only about an hour-ish from my house, an hour and a half. So I have gone there many, many times. In fact, I do make an annual birthday trip to Ecuagenera, and I always end up buying an Anthurium or 2. A lot of them I have either gotten rid of, or I just didn't like the growth habit of, or I killed. But there are a few in my collection that I do have that do not have IDs, and that's because Ecuagenera does have this one part of the nursery where you can go where they call them chunks, and it's kind of just like a chopped off Anthurium stump with no leaves. Some of them have IDs and some of them don't. So that's why I think I might only have 2 or 3 currently in my collection. Yeah, I think I only have 2. Which is crazy because I feel like I've bought so many, but the exciting thing about it is once they start growing out and I feel like I don't like the shape or anything, I'll sell it or trade it or something like that. But it's just exciting because it's like you have no idea what it is. Some of them do have labels, but the majority of them don't when you're buying the chunks. I think they range from like $10 to $15, so they're not expensive, and it's kind of a fun opportunity to get a really cool plant. So I have done that a few times. I did not get this one from Ecuagenera, but I did get it from a friend who said she got it from Ecuagenera, and she could not remember the name either. Ashley, I got this from you. I know I did, and you told me that you got it from Ecuagenera, but you could not remember the name either. So this one I called it Little Mystery because I have one that's a big mystery and one that's a little mystery. So I did call this one Little Mystery, and I have definitely struggled with this one. You can see it's got cool texture leaves, and that is what really drew me into it. I did 100% rot the roots 100% without a doubt, because I used to have this in a very big nursery pot and I took it out and there was like no roots left. So we are currently in the re-rooting process for this guy. I think it would definitely be higher on my list if I had bigger leaves, because I love leaves with texture. I was looking through my collection and it's definitely something that I don't have enough of. When you're looking at your whole collection of one genus together, it's interesting because I don't feel like I like really stripy, you know, like veined anthuriums, but I have quite a bit. So it's interesting to see. I feel like I really like textured leaves, but I don't have a lot of textured leaves. So I think throughout the year, or as I collect more, I might get rid of some of the veiny ones and get more textured ones, because I'm absolutely obsessed with this one. The only reason it's ranked so low is because I have struggled with it. So it's just a little tiny baby, but I would love to see what this looks like when it gets bigger. But yeah, unfortunately, I do not have a name for it. I just am calling it Little Mystery at the moment. It's very cute though. I love the texture. And I do have a new leaf popping out, so that is encouraging. I did reroot this, or put it in the smaller nursery pot maybe a month ago, and it's already pushing out a new leaf. So this will definitely jump up higher on the list if I can get the growth down and make it happy. I think it'll be for sure a stunner. Number 16, Anthurium Little Mystery. That's what I will call it until I can get a proper ID. And I don't really care if I do get a proper ID because I just love the way it looks, but for a video like this, you know, it's kind of nice to know the name of the Anthurium, but when it comes to stuff like that, Equigenera, I have no way of knowing. So yeah, that is number 16. All right, number 15 in my collection is also an Anthurium I got from Equigenera. I did get it as a chunk, so it was like 10 bucks or something, and it did actually have an ID tag on it, and I completely 100% got it because of the name. Because when I bought this, it had no leaves on it whatsoever, so I had no idea what it was gonna look like, but I got it because I thought the name was really cool. So this is Anthurium Dr. Tom Croat. Is that not the coolest name ever? I'm assuming that's the person who created this hybrid, Mr. Tom Croat. And upon further research, it is a hybrid of Anthurium regale and Bessie Af. So I'll show you what it looks like. It is ranked so low because, as you can see, I have also struggled with this one pest-wise. This was another Anthurium that was outside last year that I could just not control the pest with, so I did get rid of a lot of leaves. I did chop off the top as well. This is the only leaf I have to show you today. I did leave just this one leaf just to show what it looked like, but other than that, it is just a stump in here. I'm not sure how well you can see that. It's really a shame because the leaves are very cool, but I just didn't want to risk the pest going to other plants in my collection, so I did cut it off. I'm curious to see what the next leaf is going to look like because you can see in there that a growth point is starting, so I should be getting a new leaf soon. And I'm very curious to see what that's going to look like. But yeah, I love the Anthurium regale. You'll probably end up seeing that sometime in my collection later down the line in this video, but I love regale, so I was very excited about this hybrid because if you do know Anthurium, you might know regale is a little bit hard to grow. A lot of people have a hard time growing the regale, so I thought a cool hybrid would be very fun and give me an opportunity to get those regale-like leaves, but maybe a little bit easier to care for. The irony of that is that this one has been destroyed by pest, so I haven't had the best time with it. But yeah, this is 15. Wow, I've only talked about 4. This is going to be a long video. I've only talked about 4 Anthurium. But yes, Dr. Tom Croat. Very fun. I think it'll definitely jump up higher on the collection once I get some healthy leaves. All right, this is 14 in my collection. This is a very fun one. So this is Anthurium Clarinervium X Bingtong Kojora. That's the best pronunciation. If I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me, but I really, really like this Anthurium. I was struggling with it for a very long time. I just didn't think I got the care down. It was just small. I'm not sure how big this is supposed to be, but this is by far the biggest I have ever had this plant. It is pushing out 2 leaves because same story as the other ones, unfortunately, very pesty. I chopped off the top, and when I chopped off the top, I ended up getting 2 growth points. So there are now 2 plants in here. I'm not sure how well you can see that. And I'm keeping it like that. I have 2 growth points coming out and 2 opportunities for growth. So they actually both have new leaves as we speak. I love the Anthurium Clarinervium, but I do not actually have a full-fledged pure Clarinervium. I just have hybrids. I have this one and then the King of Clarinervium. So we'll see, maybe I'll add a Clarinervium to my collection, but at this point in my collection, I'm okay just having the hybrids. I know people say that hybrids are way easier to care for anyway, and that seems to be, you know, the majority of the case in my experience as well. So not much to say about this one. I'm very curious to see what it looks like as it gets bigger. Obviously, that's my plan for this one. I don't actually know what the Bing Tang Kajora looks like. If I find it, I'll post a picture on here. I know what the Clarinervium looks like, but I don't know what that one looks like. So I am very curious to see what this hybrid will look like in the future once it gets bigger, but at this point I absolutely just love it the way it is. I recently repotted it into this little self-watering pot because I had it in like a little plastic cup and it was way too root bound. So I think it's gonna like this new pot setup that it's in, and hopefully we'll get some big leaves. Yeah. That was 14, so let's move on to number 13. Okay, so number 13 looks very rough, and I understand that it might look crazy to you, but I really liked this plant, and it was completely my fault because I'll show you what it looks like, but I neglected this plant. It was absolutely on me. So number 13 is the Anthurium SP Limon, and it looks like a twig right now. I saved these for you to give you an example of what the leaves look like. It has really cool leaves, and it's one of the only Anthurium that I have that vine. And as you can see, I was not taking care of it very well because it's in this little kava cup and half of the soil has fallen out, the roots are exposed, and it's just not being taken care of. And so this was absolutely full with leaves, and I did have it trailing up my greenhouse. And I let it get underwatered, which it obviously got underwater very easy because I don't have it in a good vessel. All the leaves shriveled up and fell off. The only ones that are left are these last ones, and they just, you know, they're probably on their way out soon anyway. But I did soak it in water. Once I noticed what happened, I was devastated, but it needed to happen because it kicked my butt into high gear of like actually giving this plant a proper setup. So I got it in water, and then almost immediately I got a new growth point. So this is the littlest, babyest growth point. And I think what I'm going to do is let this grow out and then just use this as my new plant. So I might cut this long vine off. Maybe I'll node propagate it and like bring it to a swap or something. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of cut that off. I already know that this is rooted because it's connected to the original root system. So I'm going to make this little baby my new plant. And I saw a reel on Instagram about a person who had this on a trellis. This was my one struggle with this plant, is I could not figure out how to style it or how to set it up because I've never really had a vining Anthurium. I did have one, what was the name of it? Polycystidum or something like that. I did have one and I just put it up a stake, but once it reached the top of the stake, I didn't really know what to do with it anymore. Sorry, there's someone at my window. Once it reached the top of the stake, I didn't really know what to do with it anymore, so I just kept cutting it, and then it like was looking spindly and not good. So I think I am gonna try to trellis this. I've never trellised an Anthurium before, but I think this is the perfect one to do so. So I'm very curious to see what this is going to look like next time I do a collection video, because I have a lot of plans for this one. And it's only as high as it is because it looks like this. I really like this Anthurium. If I had it looking good, it would probably be in like the top 5. Like, I think this is very cool. I love the color of the foliage. Hopefully I can find some pictures to show you guys what it has looked like throughout the years of me having it. I actually got this as a gift from my friend Emil. Shout out Emil if you're watching this. I'm sorry that it looks like this because I really like this Anthurium, and it sucks because it was just like one time without enough water. and all the foliage fell off. So I had some pretty big leaves too, which is unfortunate, but it had to be done. It had to show me that it was not happy with how it was looking. So that is number 13, and I plan to make this one look beautiful for the next Anthurium video. All right, so that was number 13. What is number 12? Let's see. Number 12 is one that I would really like if it cooperated with me, which I think is the theme throughout this entire thing. Obviously, I love all of my Anthurium, but if you're finicky, like if you give me problems, you're obviously not going to be the favorite in my collection. And I have had that be the case with this one. So this is my Anthurium Dorayaki. Very beautiful. Obviously love the foliage, but I have had this one, I want to say maybe 3 years. Like, I've had this one for a long time and it just does not grow for me. Let me know if you have this same experience. I think I might have rotted the roots. Originally, this is a brand new setup as of whenever I did that last one, like a month ago. I think I might have rotted the roots because I had no growth for like a year. And if you have Anthurium, you know that they grow super fast. Like, I get new leaves every couple weeks. Some of my big ones like every month, but still like a lot of leaves. And I wasn't getting any leaves on this one for the longest time, so I was getting pretty frustrated with it until I realized that I might have rotted the roots. So I am trying again with this one. I did give it some really chunky soil in there. I gave it a much smaller pot. It's not this big. I'm just using this as the cache pot. The cover pot is only this big, and it's in some nice chunky soil. Hopefully I can get it to grow really happy. I do see that it's perked up. I don't see any new leaves yet, but I did just repot it, so I think it might be adjusting, re-rooting, and then hopefully we can get it looking good. So I really, really like this one. I love people's Dorayakis on social media that they post that are nice and big. I love the silveriness of the foliage, and I think it is just so cute. What I love about it the most, I think, is that it's like a short, compact Anthurium, and you can see from this, it has a very short growth habit, so it doesn't, you know, take up a lot of space. I'll show you some of my bigger Anthurium. They take up a lot of real estate. And that's one of the good and bad things I think about Anthurium, because I can only fit so many. Like I said, in my Hoya collection, I have 40 Hoya, and I feel like they take up less space in my collection than these Anthurium do, because they get really big. And I've only had them for a couple years. Like my biggest Anthurium I probably had for like 2 years, so it's not even like I've had them my whole life. Like, they grow fast, especially if you're giving them what they want and need. A lot of light, a lot of water, a lot of fertilizer, all that kind of stuff. So they definitely take up a lot of space. Whereas this one, I feel like I can grow for quite a long time and it's not going to be taking up a ton of space in my collection. So yeah, what number did I give this? 12. I gave this 12, and I do stand by that because I have had a hard time growing it, but I think if it grew happy for me, it would definitely be higher up on my list. So yeah, number 12 is Anthurium Dorayaki. Number 11 is, it really should be lower on my list because, or higher, I guess, like not as favored, because I do feel like if I were to get rid of any Anthurium in my collection, this would probably be it. And this is the Anthurium Magnificum Stripey. It is very beautiful. I really do like the foliage. It's growing really well for me. I did get this one weird leaf, not sure why, but it grew in very weird. It's growing really well for me considering this one has an interesting story. So I did get this probably around this size, and I got it from EFG Orchids, which if you live by me, it's a very amazing nursery. I've gotten some of my most favorite plants there, and I got this for probably like $6 or something, very cheap. And I had never had a pure Magnificum before, so I was very excited about it. It was growing very well for me, but this one, she's behind me, my Delta dog, when I had it outside, she likes to sniff under the house because I don't know if there's like lizards or something, and she was attacking something, and she absolutely destroyed this plant. Like, tore off all the leaves, everything was destroyed, and I had no foliage. So I basically just put it back in the pot, ignored it, and I started to get these leaves. So all of this foliage is new since that experience, and it is growing back really well. So considering all of that, I do like this plant. I just don't know if I love the foliage enough to keep it. So I'm curious to see once it grows out, once I start getting bigger leaves, how I feel about it. I feel that way about the majority of my Anthurium. You really need to grow them big to decide if you like them, because a lot of the foliage looks the same when it's small. They really start to get their characteristics as they grow up and grow big. So I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel about this and what I'm going to do with it once it gets bigger. So I am giving it the opportunity to impress me and then I'm going to decide what I want. But as of right now, I gave it number 11, and I stand by that because it's right dead in the middle. You know, you can either stay or you can go, you know, sort of situation. We'll see once it gets bigger. But yeah, this is Anthurium magnificum stripey. She is stripey. She is gorgeous. I can't wait to see it get big. This is number 10. We're about halfway done, and you'll see a humongous jump in size. This is one of my smaller ones that I have left, and then the other top 10 are huge. So this is number 10. This is Anthurium Jungle Dreams, and I absolutely love this foliage. See if I can get it to focus. Hello? It just wants to focus on my face, sorry. There we go. This is the newest leaf. It is so stunning. And this is what I mean, what I said about the last one. I feel like this Anthurium is just now starting to show me its characteristics. Like, this was fine, a beautiful leaf, but now you're starting to see the lobing. And I didn't even say what this was. This is a cross between Bessiae, Af, and Pinklei, which when I looked up Pinklei, I saw that it had these lobes, and I absolutely fell in love with that. That's a characteristic that I don't think I have in any other Anthurium in my collection. No, I don't. So this is one that is unique in my collection, so I'm very excited about that. I did get this from Equigenera as a chunk, so again, I probably paid like $10, $15 or something like that. And it's just now starting to show me the characteristics. I did have no leaves on this when I purchased it, so all of these leaves have been new, and I think I've probably cut off a few leaves. It recently got repotted into this big pot because, again, I had it in a very small pot and it was root bound, so all of them got a little pre-treatment to this video so they would be looking nice. But yeah, this is what it is currently looking like. I'm so excited for this emergent leaf to come out. I don't want to touch it because I don't want to ruin it, but I'm hoping that it's starting to show more of the lobiness that this plant has to offer. And there's another new leaf on the way. So we'll see. I absolutely love this. And again, I think I'm going to absolutely love it once it starts to show those Pinklei, you know, loby characteristics. So that is number 10. All right, getting into the top 10. I kind of don't stand by this, but I do. So I put number 9 as my Anthurium crystallinum, which I will show you right now. And we are starting to get into the big ones, folks, so I might move back a little bit just to show you, but it's also ginormously heavy, so I might have a hard time picking them up. But this is my Anthurium crystallinum, and it looks rough. I understand that, but I just love this plant so much. So let me show you this leaf. This leaf is better. So this plant and I have been through a lot, okay? I also got this plant from EFG Orchids. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was small. By small, I mean the leaves were maybe like this big, like not huge at all. And that was 2 years ago, you know, 2 years maybe. And I have grown this to have humongous leaves. This was not even the largest leaf that it had. I recently just did a huge chopping of all the leaves. I'll post a video somewhere. I showed what it looked like in my plant chores video prior to this. I did want to, you know, clear it up a little bit for this video because they were starting to yellow and were very pesty. But I did cut, I think, like 6 leaves off. Like, it was a lot. And it had this new emergent leaf that I absolutely destroyed because I touched it too much, and I think I pest treated it too much while it was emerging. It just doesn't look good. So this new leaf is not looking good at all. I probably will cut it off as soon as I see, you know, signs of another new leaf coming. This one's probably gonna come off, but I did keep this one because I thought it was very pretty and I do like it a lot. I just love this plant. If this plant cooperated for me, it would probably be number one. I love the look of it. I love the shape of it. I love that the petioles don't get long. It's quite short in terms of this size Anthurium. It stays short in my experience, so it doesn't take up too much vertical real estate. And it's just stunning. Like the velvety leaves with the striking white veins, I think it is so beautiful, and I absolutely love this plant. It's actually giving me an inflow right now, which you can see right here. It's giving me a little flower. I have actually tried to collect pollen from this one. I think I did successfully collect it. When I used it, I might not have successfully pollinated the other Anthurium. I've tried it a couple times and I've never successfully pollinated any of my Anthuriums. So if you have tips for that, let me know. But this would definitely be one that I would consider pollinating, because I'll show you, or gathering pollen rather, because I'll show you later on in my collection I have a crystallinum hybrid that is absolutely stunning. So I know that this would be a great like hybridizing Anthurium, and it gives me inflows all the time. I cut them off all the time because right now I think I'm focusing more on foliage. Like I said, I just cut off a bunch, so I would like to get some more healthy foliage out. The good thing about this leaf, even though it looks so bad, is that there's not that much pest damage on it. You know, maybe a little bit. I don't think I'm ever gonna truly not have pest damage when it comes to this plant, but if you watched my plant chores video, I can show you video of what the old leaves used to look like, and man, they were pesty. They were so bad. I hated looking at those leaves, but I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it. So I've been using systemic granules, a combination of systemic granules and this, which I just sprayed them with, so if some of the leaves look wet, that's why. Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. I've been spraying all my plants with this, and it seems to be working because a couple of my Anthuriums that previously had pest damage, the new emergent leaves are looking pretty clear. So I think it might be working, you know, fingers crossed. I would really like to have a couple healthy leaves on this plant. But I do really like this plant. That's why I gave it a higher ranking than all the rest of them, all the small ones, because I'm just so proud of how I have gotten this plant to be so big and happy. Well, happy-ish. Not super happy, but just happy enough to grow to this size, and I really like this plant. So yeah, that is number 9. Let's move on to the next one. Ooh, I called this one Big Mystery. So like I said, number 16 was Little Mystery. Now I'm going to show you Big Mystery. So I have to grab it. I have all my Anthurium in here, but it's kind of, I don't want to ruin the leaves. So give me 1 second. Okay, you guys, so this is what I call my Anthurium Big Mystery. As you can see, I don't even know how to catch it in frame. We're starting to get to some pretty large leaves. I have no ID on this one. This was a chunk from Equigenera that had no tag on it. And what I find to be so cool about this one, well, first of all, I really love the foliage. It was a chunk with no leaves when I got it, so I had no idea what the leaf was going to look like. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I did get it as a mystery Anthurium, but it did have 1 leaf. It had 1 leaf. I'll see if I can find a picture, but it looked a little different than it does now. It's definitely starting to get more loby. And can you see Delta? Delta has a cone on because she has a problem with her paw, so she won't stop licking it, so she is dealing with this. So she looks so sad. I know. Everybody send her some prayers. She's dealing with a licking issue on her paw, so the only way to get her to not lick is this. I'm so sorry. So yeah, she's not very happy with mommy at the moment, but yeah, just ignore her if you can see her. But what was I saying? I got this as a 1-leafed plant. Did not know the name, but I just really liked it. The foliage is very rigid, And I like that, as well as the stem has like some rigidity to it, and I really liked that it has this like orange hue. See if you can get that. It's like very orangey. The stem has orange. You don't see it as much now. Once the leaf starts to emerge, it definitely takes on like a limey green tone, but when it's a baby leaf, it's orange. And then right up here, right here, it's bright orange. It starts to get mature and the orange goes away, but when it's emergent, it's definitely bright. I made this one number 8 because I very much enjoy seeing it grow. I have had some issues with the growth of this one. You'll see it's only 2 leaves, and this one's already starting to look bad. So it has an interesting growth pattern in my experience. So the plant will grow and it'll be really happy. And then all of a sudden, once it gets mature and starts to like harden off, it starts to yellow. And this is one of my only Anthurium leaves that do that. I have it outside, so it's getting good Florida humidity, but I don't know if that's maybe not enough humidity. If you have this issue, let me know. But the actual emergent leaf will come out like really happy, and then once it matures and hardens, it starts to yellow, and eventually the whole leaf will yellow and it'll look really ugly. So I have cut off so many leaves from this plant because I don't know what's causing the yellowing, but it looks really bad. So I usually end up cutting it off, but the new leaf, there was a little damage on this one. That's the thing about Anthurium, you can't touch them while they're emerging because something will happen. But the new leaf looks good, looks extra loby, which I love, and I'm super excited. I hope, my plan is to grow this in my greenhouse instead of outside, because I would like to see if it has that super extra humidity. The greenhouse in my house gets like 85% humidity, like very high. I'm curious to see if that'll help the yellowing leaf situation, and hopefully I can get more than just one leaf. It's almost like an alocasia, like it lives in the one leaf club. I had this leaf for the longest time. Now this one's yellowing, now this one came out. So I'm really hoping that I don't have to cut this one off because I really like it. It's a beautiful leaf. I'm just hoping the yellowing doesn't spread, and I hope that it doesn't happen to this leaf either, but I'm hoping that putting it in the greenhouse with the extra boost of humidity will eliminate that problem. I'll definitely keep you guys updated, let you know what it looks like, you know, in a couple months or so. But yeah, I love this plant. I love how cool the foliage is. I like that it has that light green, like chartreusey color. It's unique. I don't have any other Anthurium with this color, and I think it is so beautiful and stunning. So yeah, I'm calling this one Big Mystery. Big mystery and little mystery. I don't have any IDs, and so that's what I'm calling these two. So this is number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Oh, if you know me, you know this plant is my nemesis. This plant is my absolute nemesis. So I have ranked this number 7. This is a Bessie Af hybridized with a Pap, Ralph Lynam, and Fort Sherman. I absolutely love this plant. This plant stresses me out probably more than any other plant in my collection. So let me give you a, an overview of it. It has these gorgeous velvety leaves that I love so much. Absolutely love. I love velvety Anthurium leaves. I just don't think that they love me very much because I have had so much pest trouble with this plant. I have talked about this in some of my videos, the plant chores video. I have sprayed this plant probably weekly for a year. No matter what I do, this plant does not want to not be pesty. So you're actually seeing the version of it that looks nicer. I cut off probably like 10 leaves off this plant recently because I'm trying to avoid the pest spread. So when I see a really pesty leaf, I just cut it off because I know that even if I do my best to try and spray it, there might be like eggs on it, whatever. I cut off a lot of leaves. So this is the nicer version. This is what it looks like now. I do obviously have some leaf damage. And like, for example, I don't know if you can see on there, it's really dark foliage, so in person you can see, but there is a lot of pest damage on these leaves. This one, a lot. I just love the look of it so much. It is the only, I think, it's the only pap I have in my collection. Maybe that's not true. No. Okay. So this is one of 2 Pappy hybrids that I have in my collection. I got both of these plants from Green Hues. I'll tag her Instagram below. I'm not sure if she's still selling plants or what, but I absolutely love her account. If you follow her on Instagram, she has the most beautiful anthuriums, and she makes a lot of really cool hybrids. So I bought these as seedlings from her. I think I ended up getting 3 of these and 2 of the other one, which I have not shown yet because it's ranked pretty high, but all 3 of these survived. I did have, I think I want to say 1 die. I think it was the second version to that one. I did have that one die, but all 3 of these survived, albeit pesty. I got the leaves probably when they were like this big. If I can find a picture, I will show you, but I'm curious to see when that was. That might be 2 years. 2 or 3 years, and I have grown it from seedling to this. Like, this is me not even showing the full plant. Like I said, I have cut off so many leaves from this plant, and I have all 3 in here. I don't know if I said that. That's why it's so full. I really like the look of how full it is, but it does make for a chaotic plant pot situation, and I love this plant. I wish it grew well for me. I am still determined to get it to grow well for me, and I think I'm on the way. Like I said, I'm just recently starting to experiment with systemic granules. I've never used them before because I've never really had an issue with pest, but I have noticed that they love these velvety leaves. Like, I don't really have any pest issues on any of my Anthurium, knock on wood. Any wood around. I don't really have any issues, but the velvet Anthurium, my crystallinum like I showed you in this one, they love. Also, some of my smaller ones, those are the more velvety ones, and that's why they have all been chopped back, because the pest, specifically spider mites I've noticed, and thrips, spider mites and thrips, they love my velvety Anthurium. So this one, she is in her comeback era. Every single growth point has a new leaf, which I'm noticing right now. I also just noticed, because I haven't picked this up in a while, that it has an inflow. It's not ready yet, but I've tried collecting pollen from this one. I haven't done anything with it, but I don't know if I'm just not doing it right, but I've collected pollen from plenty of my plants and put them on when I thought it was ready and no berries come. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but that's okay. I'm not into Anthurium for the hybridizing aspect because I feel like my house would be very quickly overrun with the babies. My house is already overrun with plants, so I don't need baby Anthurium everywhere, but I'm into this plant obviously for the foliage. I'm gonna sit back so you can see the real, my shirt's not tucked in. I'm sitting back so you can see the real size of this. It is huge. I'm not sure what size nursery pot this is, but this is a self-watering pot because I've noticed this plant likes a lot of water. So I do have it in a self-watering pot. It is gorgeous. I do love it. It would probably be top 3 in my collection, maybe even top 1 if I could get it to not be pesty. I feel like I'm just saying that throughout the entire video, but yeah. This is number 7. And this is the Bessie F. I'll show you the tag. Plant names stress me out. I saved the tag because I knew that I would never remember it. Plant names really stress me out because I feel like they're so complicated. But this is what this plant is. So yeah, that is number 7. Okay, so that was one of the big ones. We're actually going back to a medium-ish size plant for number 6. Let me go get that one. Okay, so for number 6, we are talking about the Anthurium Silver Blush. I absolutely love this plant. I don't know if I would have ranked it as high as it did, but the reason I love this plant so much is because I grew this Anthurium from seed, which is the only Anthurium I have ever done so. I got seeds at a plant swap. I want to say it was like 3 for $5. Like, she was just giving the seeds away for very cheap, and I was so excited. I had never gotten Anthurium seeds before, and so 2 out of the 3 survived, and this is one of them. I absolutely love it. This is the newest leaf right here. It's kind of tucked away, and I absolutely love this plant. I think I have so much endearment for it because I did grow it from seeds, so I'm very proud of it. I think that is beautiful. I don't know if I would have picked it to grow, you know, without having it grow from seed, but I'm very happy I did because I really do like it. I think that this leaf is bothering me. You can see this is an older leaf, and I obviously wasn't giving it as much sun because the petiole is like very stretched out, versus these newer leaves are very short petioles, so it kind of just sticks out in a weird way. I feel like if that leaf wasn't there, the plant would look really good. Oh, I just ripped it. Wait, I have scissors, hold on. I feel like it's gonna make it look so much better though. Purpley, sparkly scissors. Cut it off. Bye-bye. Sorry if that upset you. I know there's a lot of people who don't like to cut their leaves, but I'd be cutting them. It was just bothering me that it was sticking out so much, and I will show you another plant that is an example of that. So Anthurium, I find, really stretch their petioles out if you are not giving them enough light. If you really give them a lot of light and a lot of humidity, they grow much more compact. So this was an older leaf, although it was pretty big, which I was happy about. It was just stretching out in a weird way. I feel like this already looks so much better with this being the newest leaf. I feel like that looks so much better. That one was sticking out way too much. So yeah, I really, really love this one. It's one of my favorites. I love looking at it. I love that, I feel like it reminds me of the Dorayaki. It kind of reminds me of the Dorayaki in the fact that it's very silvery foliage and it stays really small and compact if given enough light. So yeah, this one is higher. When I was looking at every Anthurium in my collection, I did not think this was going to be as high as it was, but I really do love it. I think it is gorgeous. The sister plant of this was given away at my first or my second, I can't remember, bookish plant swap. I did grow both of them and they were both looking really good, but I decided to give one away because I do not need 2 of the exact same Anthurium. So I picked this one. I liked that it was slightly less silvery. The other one, I'll see if I can find a picture, but it definitely had more silver foliage. But I just liked the growth habit and the look of this one more. So I kept this one and I gave the second one away at one of my plant swaps. So Heather, if you're watching this, she owns a second one. She's been giving me updates on it and it looks gorgeous in her care. She'd never had an Anthurium before, so she was a little nervous about growing one, but she's doing a very, very good job with it. So this one's twin is still here in Jacksonville, growing nice and beautifully. So yeah, this is one of my favorite in my collection for sure. I gave it a 6, a ranking of 6. So now we're about to get into the top 5. So let's see what else we got. All right, number 5 is actually the one right behind me. So let me go get that one. And I'm very upset because I destroyed the newest leaf bringing it into this room, which really upset me because it was a gorgeous looking leaf. But this one, same as the silver blush, I moved it and it stretched out a lot. So you can see, let me back up. We're talking about big plants now. This is my Anthurium Titan Fingers. This is a super cool hybrid. It's from EFG, which is that plant store I was talking about. And it is a hybrid of titanium and fingers. See if I can get that to focus. Okay. This is a hybrid between Anthurium Titanium and Anthurium Fingers. So it was named Titan's Fingers, and I think this is so cool. I got this as just a little baby plant from EFG, and it has grown so much. I had no idea what the leaves were going to look like, and when I got it, it had no lobes at all, I don't think, and it has grown to this. So this is the newest leaf I was talking about. Absolutely destroyed it. You'll see there's so many cuts in there, and I'm very mad about that because this was going to be a beautiful leaf. So I'm pretty mad that I did that, but it's fine. Whatever. I'll either let it do its thing or I'll cut it off and, you know, try to be more careful with the next newest leaf. So this one was just emerging. It is just so cool. I absolutely love the look of this one. I think I used to have Anthurium fingers. I don't know if I ever owned one, but I definitely thought they were very cool. Never got one though, so this kind of gives me the vibe of that one. It is starting to grow very, very largely, as you can see, and I think it is putting out its first inflow right here. If you can see that. I have a hard time carrying these because they're so heavy. Can you see it? Right there. Its first ever inflow. I can't remember ever getting an inflow on this before, so I don't know if I'm gonna try hybridizing this. I feel like it would make for a very cool hybrid. I don't know if I actually can, now that I'm thinking about it. I feel like EFG probably has the right to all hybridizing because they created this hybrid. This was not something that had ever been done before, so this was something that was created by them. So I don't think I'm gonna bother even trying to hybridize it, but yeah, it does have its very first inflow, which is very cool. And I absolutely love this one. I do keep this one outside, and like I was saying about the stretching, this one is stretching because I moved it from the west side of my house to the east side of my house. The backyard, I moved it, and obviously west is more light, and so these 3 leaves grew in the west facing sun. This super long stretched out leaf grew in the east facing sun, so it clearly is stretching for some more light. So I do think I'm gonna have to move it back to the west side. I was moving it because it's kind of in our footpath way, but I either have to deal with the longer foliage or have it go to the west facing side of the house. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I do love this new leaf, but I wish that the stem was a little bit shorter. I like, you know, this size a little bit more attainable. This kind of gets out of the way. I wish I could show you the whole thing. I am so far back from the camera and you still can't get a full point of view of what this plant looks like. So obviously this is my hand. The leaf is ginormous in comparison to my hand, and this is one of the older leaves compared to my head. They are very large leaves. They're starting to get very big. This plant was maybe in a 5-inch planter when I first got it, so it was very small. It had none of this lobing. It just looked like, it kind of looked like a baby monstera. It was just like a heart-shaped leaf sort of thing until these finger, you know, starting to pop out. But yeah, I really do like this one. Like I said, I think I'm going to cut this leaf off and put it back on the west facing side of my house to see if I can get some more shorter leaves. And I'm also going to cut this inflow off. Boop. I don't need to be hybridizing this one. Don't want to get in trouble. So yeah, this was, what, number 5? Yeah, number 5. I really, really like this Anthurium, and I cannot wait to see it grow big. I think it is very unique and something you can only get if you shop at EFG, which is so cool. I highly recommend. I'm not sure if they have an online store. I have to give that a look. If they do, I can definitely link them, but I go in person because it's very close to my house. It's probably like 45 minutes from my house, and so I go as well every year. Probably more than once a year, but definitely at least once a year on my birthday, and I'm very happy that I have somewhere very close by to get cool plants like this. So yeah, this is number 5. This is Anthurium Titan Fingers. I'm so mad I ripped that leaf, but it's fine because I'm probably gonna end up cutting it anyway. Okay, number 4. Let me go get that one. Okay, so this is number 4, and this is my Anthurium Wendlingeri. That is how I think you pronounce it. I'm not actually sure. Wendlingeri, and I absolutely love this plant. This plant is so unique in the fact that its inflows are curly. I know I have gotten multiple inflows. I'm not sure if I can get a good picture of it, but if not, I'll steal someone else's picture and put it on there. But I absolutely love that about this one. I don't really care about the inflows on any of my other Anthurium because they all look the same. You know, they're all the normal ones, but this one has a corkscrew inflorescence, which is just so cool. I've probably gotten like 5 or 6 inflows. I have tried to pollinate it once, did not succeed. Again, like I said, I think I'm doing something wrong with the actual pollination process, but it's fine. I just enjoy looking at them, and I have grown this probably 3 times the size of its original. I do have very long leaves here, as you can see. They're not super long, but they are, its longest leaf is probably like, I don't know, 2 feet. This is the size of its longest leaf. I do not think this plant is thriving currently. I do have a lot of exposed stem. I think my plan is to repot it and get this part of the stem in the soil because there's a lot of roots just like looking for a place to go. And so I do want to rehab this plant a little bit. Like I said, I have not grown this super well, but I have gotten a ton of inflows and the leaves have grown a ton. So I really love the look of it. I just want to take better care of it. So I think my plan is to probably repot it deeper in the pot and see if I can get more roots that way. I also have the soil very dry right now, and in my experience, none of my Anthurium really like to dry out. So since I have this up hanging, it's hanging on my west facing wall, I definitely do think that it's probably drying out more than it needs to because I don't look at it as much as my other Anthurium. So I think that I might need to give this one a little rehab day, and I think that I could get it to grow very, very happy. So it's high up on my list because I absolutely love the look of it. I just want it to grow happier for me, and once it does, it's gonna be so beautiful. I got this quite a while ago. I'm not sure how long, but I think the largest leaf was like this big. Like it was a seedling, practically a baby seedling, and I have grown it to this size. So it definitely is happy in my care, just not thriving. And I really would like it to be thriving because I think it is so stunning. I love strappy Anthurium. This is the only one that I have because I don't have that much space for many more hanging plants because I have a lot of hanging plants. But I'm wondering if I could move this one maybe even in here. That would be cool, like right on my window up here, to kind of give it its own standalone. I feel like I would probably pay more attention to it if it was there, because I think one of the reasons this is a little unhappy is because I do underwater it a lot. I think that my experience with Anthurium is that they like a lot of water or consistent watering, and I don't give this one consistent watering. I only notice it when it starts to like droop, and in my experience that's not the best way to be caring for your Anthurium. So I think maybe if I put this one in here, I'll look at it more, therefore water it more. So yeah, I really, really love this plant. I wish that it had an inflow to show you so you could see it in all of its glory. But yeah, I'll definitely attach a picture somewhere because it is so cool. Very unique. I don't know any other Anthurium that has this. I could be wrong. I'm not sure if this is the only one, but it definitely is unique to my collection in the fact that 1, it's the only strappy Anthurium that I have, and 2, it's the only like unique inflorescence that I have. So I did rank this number 4. I cannot wait to see this grow once I repot it, give it a little TLC, and maybe move its location so that I can pay more attention to it. Oh my gosh, top 3! Okay, you guys, I hope you are having fun watching this video. I'm having so much fun doing it. If you can see my passion, I really, really like my Anthurium. I think they are definitely amongst my favorite plants in my collection. I can't really make a genus my favorite because I have so many. Like when I was thinking about filming all these collection videos, Hoya first came to mind because I definitely have the most Hoyas. Then Anthurium came to mind because I have some of my biggest leaves in my collection, or like biggest plants, are from Anthurium. But I love philodendron. I love begonia. I don't have that many orchids, but I love orchids. Like I love plants. So I hope you're enjoying this video. We are about to get into the top 3, which is crazy. And all of these, I literally, before this video, it was me sitting here and I have them all side by side and I just kept looking at them and I was like, who do I love the most? Who do I love the most? In my opinion, these are 3 of the most beautiful plants in my collection. Like, they are just stunning no matter what. And I just kept looking at them and looking at them. So I had a very hard time coming up with this top 3. I still don't know if I agree with what I put, but I'm sticking to it. So I do think that each one is number 1 in my heart just based on how beautiful they are. But I do think that I like them a little bit more than others. Okay, so let's get started. Number 3. this is the plant that I decided to give number 3 spot in my Anthurium collection, and it is so stunning. This is my Anthurium magnificum XGG, which is like Necrologium or something. I have to look up the name. I know the nickname is Gigi, but this is that plant. I absolutely love it. I'll go back so you can see again, the size of this plant right here. This is just one of the leaves, and then we have 2 leaves right here. I'll take some close-ups, but I absolutely love this plant so much. This was another chunk that I got from Equigenera. I did know the ID on this one. I did have a tag. I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like because I had no leaves at the time I got it, but growing this plant has been a dream. Like, every single leaf that comes out just stuns me. It has gotten more loby. The leaves have gotten ginormous. Like, this is the emergent leaf. I cannot wait to see what this looks like. So stunning. This is probably the biggest leaf. I can't figure out if this one or this one is bigger, but like, look at that. Look at that leaf. That is so beautiful. And it's dark. It doesn't have much veining, which I actually do really like. There is light veining, but nothing too crazy. And I think that's what I like the most about it, because I do like when anthuriums are veiny, but I also think it's kind of like they all look the same. You know what I mean? Once you start into getting into anthurium hybrids and stuff, you'll notice that a lot of them almost look exactly the same. And I do feel that's the case for some of my anthurium in my collection, but I definitely like to pick ones that are offering something different. And I think that this plant does exactly that. It has the slightest like neon green veining, but just really beautiful, luscious foliage. And it's so big. This is my head, and I got a big head. It doesn't give the actual scale of it. This is my hand. I also have huge hands, by the way. This is my hand in comparison to the leaf. It takes up, you know, this. I'd have to get out a ruler and measure it, but this has got to be like 1.5 feet long leaf. And what I've started to notice since it's gotten bigger is how loby it's getting. It was not like that when I first got it. It's definitely starting to get more loby and just so cute up here as it's getting older. They're like kind of curling a little bit too. It's just really cool. I really like it. I don't actually know what a GG looks like. I have to look it up. I'm not sure, but I think it's probably what is giving the dark depth of this plant, because the magnificum is quite like a bright green. Actually, I have the stripey. This is a magnificum, and the hybridized with the GG is what gave this plant. So I absolutely love it. I think it is so stunning. I like that it grows in this like 360 fashion, because even though I've only given this one light source, it's growing kind of like in a way where every angle gets a leaf, which I think is really cool. Some of my anthurium tend to like go towards the sun, but this one, I mean, I usually have it like this, I think, because this is like the most impressive leaf in my opinion. But this side is getting some leaves right now. So it has, I think this is the oldest leaf, and then this new emergent leaf. So I just think it is so stunning. Hopefully this emergent leaf comes out looking nice. I was so careful bringing it into this room because I did not want to damage it. As you can see, it still has a lot of growing to go. It comes out this like neon green color, and then as it matures, it gets a dark green here. It's so stunning. Again, I will not be touching that leaf. I do not want to damage it. But this one is number 3, and I absolutely love it. This is a plant I could not see myself parting with unless it just got so ginormous I didn't know where to put it. But I feel like this is a plant that is worth finding the extra space for. I do currently have this one outside as well. I think I might bring it into my greenhouse if I can fit it, because I think it'll really appreciate, you know, the conditions that I have in there. But right now it's perfectly happy outside. It actually grows decently well. Like, this new leaf probably came out a month ago, and I already have this new leaf on the way about to mature. So it's a very fast growing plant, and I gave it this big pot probably 6 months ago, and there's already roots touching the side of the pot. So it grows very fast. I think I'm gonna top up the soil because I see a ton of aerial roots in here that could use some soil. So I'll probably top it up and see how long I can get away with it in this pot before I need to give it a bigger pot, because I don't know if I have a bigger pot. It's already in the biggest nursery pot that I have. So yeah, number 3, absolutely obsessed with this. So stunning, definitely one of my favorites. All right, I'm covered in dirt, covered in water. What's next, you guys? So this is my top 2. I could not decide for the life of me which one to give number 1, but I stand by it. Let's show you number 2. Number 2, this is the second plant that I got from Green Hues, like I was showing you before, and I think her hybrids are just stunning. This one came to mind for me because I had previously an Ace of Spades, an Anthurium Ace of Spades, and I was doing well with it, but I found it to be rather on the finickier side, and I didn't have the greatest growing experience with it. So one of the reasons I bought this one is because it is an Ace of Spades hybrid. Let me show you the tag. I'll show you the tag before I show you the plant. So this is a crystallinum hybrid, which I talked to you about before. I absolutely love crystallinum, mixed with Tazula, Ace of Spades dark form, and a papillimonum, whatever, hybrid. So I don't know if you could picture that in your mind, but here, I'll show you the tag. Some of my absolutely favorite anthuriums all hybridized together. So I was so excited. I bought this as a seedling. I want to say the seedling was like $20 or something, so it was definitely expensive, but I knew that I would probably have an easier time with this than I did with the actual pure Ace of Spades, because I did have a really hard time with this. And this says this is Ace of Spades dark form. So I have grown this from seed. I grew it at the same time that I grew these, all at the same time, all the same seedlings, and I have done okay with it, but struggled just a tad, and I'm finally starting to get it to grow happy. So I have the most beautiful new leaf to show you guys. You ready? Oh my god, this takes my freaking breath away. Are you kidding me? And it has no pest damage on it. There's no pest damage on this leaf. I know I'm speaking probably way too soon, but this leaf is perfect. It's perfect, and it is the first perfect, 100% perfect leaf I have gotten on this plant. So this is the new leaf, and I'll back up a little bit to show you what the old leaves look like, which is not as pretty. Still pretty, but not as pretty. And it's so interesting to see how this plant is progressing, because this leaf right here, it's dark, it's beautiful, but it does not have the same veination as the newest leaf. The new leaf is definitely starting to pop out some veins, which the old leaves did not. And I was so stunned when I saw this, because I did not think this plant was gonna have any veination because of the old leaves. Like, this does not look like the same plant. There's barely any veins on there. So this is the oldest leaf that it currently has. Like I said, I've cut off a lot of leaves on it because of pest damage, but these leaves are some of the only ones that I have left with no pest damage. So I had that leaf, and then this leaf, again, not really that much veination. And then the reason these look so bad is because I had these in the tote when I left. If you watch my plant chores video, I knew this was a gamble because it was touching the top, and so these leaves, well, this one's just damaged, but this leaf grew in with not enough room at the top of the tote, so it looks weird. I plan on cutting it off once I get more leaves, but they're just gonna hang around for now. But this is really why we're here, you guys. This leaf right here, this is the star of the show. This is probably the leaf I'm the most proud of in my entire collection. It has grown in so beautifully. I have stared at it for so long, and I absolutely love it. The top is like grown together, like they're pushing out, and it is so stunning. I think I can definitely see the Ace of Spades in it. It also has the red backs, which is a characteristic of the Ace of Spades. which is so beautiful. It's definitely the largest leaf that I've gotten from this plant, and I absolutely love it. So this was one that I was so excited to show you guys because I have struggled with this plant because, like I said, I got this seedling at the same time as all those seedlings, and I have gotten leaf after leaf after leaf on those, versus this, I haven't gotten that many leaves on. I've only cut off 5. So it's not, that one I probably cut off 25. Like, I'm not even joking. That other one, I have cut off so many leaves because they're so pesty. This one, I think it might be because of the Ace of Spades. I know that they generally grow pretty slowly. Ace of Spades do. So I don't get as many leaves, so I don't get as many opportunities with this plant. I definitely only get a leaf like every 3 months or something. So I'm just so excited about this one. I think it is so beautiful and I'm so proud of it. I can't believe I grew this. It has no markings on it that I can see, and it's just stunning. I love it so much. This is definitely one of my all-time favorites. I cannot wait to see this one get big. It's currently in my greenhouse, so it is getting optimal conditions that I can provide it. It's getting very high humidity. I do have it in a self-watering pot as well, so it does have a little bit of a water reservoir for me to have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to the watering needs. So yeah, this is number 2. I absolutely love it, and again, it is a crystallinum, which you already know I love, and it's mixed with an Ace of Spades and Pappy, which I love as well. So I think it gives me a better opportunity to get the Ace of Spades look without the hard to care for aspects. So yeah, this is number 2. I love it, absolutely love it. No notes. This leaf, 10 out of 10, no notes. Proud of myself. Give myself a little pat on the back as a plant parent because it has never given me a leaf like this, and now I feel like I figured out the care and we're just gonna keep on going. We're just gonna keep on going until we have ginormous leaves. So yeah, love it. All right, you guys, we are finally on to Anthurium number 1 in my collection. Hey, Delty girl, can you go sit down? We are finally on to the number 1 all-time favorite Anthurium in my collection, and like I said, I had a very, very hard time picking. I could not decide which one was my favorite. As you saw, I absolutely loved that Ace of Spades hybrid, but this one it's just so beautiful. I love it so much, and I'm so proud of it. So let me show you what is number 1 in my Anthurium collection. Ooh, ta-da! This is my Anthurium Regale. It is just a straight regale, and I am so proud of this one. I have gone through some trials and tribulations when it comes to this plant, but I finally got a leaf here, well, 2 leaves really, that I am so unbelievably proud of. I got this plant as a tiny little baby. I got it off Facebook Marketplace, and I think it was either $5 or $8. I cannot remember. It was very cheap, and I thought that it was such a steal, you know, such a steal. But the issue with baby Anthurium, in my opinion, is that they are sometimes hard to sustain, hard to grow up, because they really need a lot of light and water, and with such a small, like, nursery pot, they're hard to keep consistently moist. So I personally have a hard time getting them to size up when they're really small like that, but I poured my heart and soul into this Anthurium Regale because, like, if you are on plant social media, you'll see that this plant is stunning. It is so cool. It has the craziest venation, and it gets really big, which I appreciate because I really, really like the big Anthurium, as you can see. And so I thought at $5, $8, whatever, I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it a try. And it did basically nothing for me for a year. The first year that I had it, it was fine. It had 1 leaf originally, and that leaf was holding on for dear life for a very long time. And I had it under a humidity dome. I was keeping it moist. It did a whole lot of nothing. And then I put it outside, and outside was when it finally like triggered some growth, and I was starting to get some leaves, but they were looking bad, like really, really bad. I find in my experience that the Regale is very prone to yellowing. You'll see just a tad here. You'll see that there. And in my experience, this is happening because I am underwatering or inconsistently watering. I have figured out that this plant, as soon as a new leaf emerges, like you have to blast that plant with water, and it really, really likes high humidity. So I feel like I have cracked the code when it comes to this plant, and I finally have gotten the care down for this one. So I wish I had a picture. I'm sure I can find one, but I think the original leaf was like a baby. It was very, very small. And so to get it to grow this size is just something I'm so proud of. And I think that the more I grow it, the more veins it's gonna get. And I just cannot wait to see this one grow big. I'm really upset that I did this, and I know I did this because I did see that it needed water, and I waited probably like 2 or 3 days past. And I knew as soon as I watered it, I was like, oh, I waited too long to water because the soil was bone dry, and it really doesn't ever like to be completely bone dry. So I know that was my fault, but to get everything else to look like this, I just love it so much. I cannot wait to see what this plant looks like in a year or so when I finally get some size on this. I really like how it sits too. Like you'll see, it sits so flat, which I think is really interesting. It doesn't take up a lot of real estate that way. It just sits so flat, and so it looks so nice. It recently got put into this self-watering pot. I was so proud of this leaf too. Like this leaf, also stunning, so proud. And then this leaf came out, it's like twice the size. It jumped up in size so much, and so I could not believe the size difference. This was the next leaf from here to here, and so I am just so excited to see what the next leaf is going to be. And I really, really am proud of myself for growing it from just a little baby Anthurium. So this is number 1 in my collection. I absolutely love my Anthurium regale, and I cannot wait to see this grow. I mean, look at this. These are some big plants, people. That's something to keep in mind if you do have Anthurium, or if you're planning on growing Anthurium. You gotta know they're gonna get big. Like when I bought this, it was in a pot this big, and that was 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure. So to grow it to be this size in 2 years, imagine if you, like me, if you have 18 Anthurium and you need to find space for 18 pots this size. Like, they are a very big responsibility, so you have to make sure that you have the time and the space for them to get them to grow and to be happy. So yes, this is plant number 1, my all-time favorite Anthurium as of right now. Like I said, I'm very curious to see what my collection, probably in a year I'll do this video again, is going to look like, because I think once some of these grow up or grow out, I think that I might change my opinions about them, see how I do. I like seeing how a plant changes over the course of time, because it really gives you a point of view on like how to care for it, how fast it grows. I think that's very important as a plant person. You gotta know that when you buy a plant this big in a year, if it's gonna be that big, that's something you definitely have to like plan for. So I just couldn't be happier with this one. I wanted this one to get big. That's why I think I like it so much, is because I wanted to get big, and it did get big. So it's like that accomplishing feeling, like I feel like I did it right, you know, like I'm a good plant parent. So like I said, couldn't be more proud of this one. Again, this was completely my fault. Otherwise it would have been the most perfect leaf ever. And it was when it was emerging. I waited too long to water, so that was my bad. But I learned. I hopefully will not underwater the next new leaf. It does have a new leaf emerging as we speak down here. You can see that. It does have a new leaf slowly emerging, so I cannot wait to see what that one looks like. I hope it's going to be even bigger than this one. I think it's going to be so stunning, and I cannot wait to see it grow. If you watch this video to the end, thank you so much. I absolutely love making these videos. I hope you enjoy watching them. Let me know if you have any of these Anthurium. Also, I would love to know how you care for your Anthurium, because even though I have this many, I feel like sometimes I'm still a little bit of an Anthurium newbie. Me personally, what I would recommend for someone who's looking to start out in Anthurium, I would say make sure you have it in a bright spot. I personally keep mine in the brightest light in my house, because like I said, I find that if you move it in lower light, the stems are going to get long and they look a little like long and lanky, and they might not look as good in my opinion, but it's completely up to you. You can have longer leaves if that's your preference. I prefer, you know, for space purposes, to have it be shorter stems if possible. So I do have mine in the brightest light, either south or west facing in my case. I do really like to pump them with water. So it's not as much a ton of water, it's just consistent water. And it's kind of about noticing the plant. So I really like to water when I see a new leaf emerging. I feel like it needs that boost of water, especially if the water is fertilized. I find them to be very, very heavy feeders in my experience. Oh, sorry, I have the hiccups. I find them to be extremely heavy feeders in my experience. I don't think that they would be as big as they are without my fertilizing routine. I've been putting Osmocote on my big ones just so they have that extra punch of fertilizer, because sometimes I don't always get out my liquid fertilizer to water. So I do have all the bigger ones topped with Osmocote granules, and they are getting that little dose of food every time that I water them. So that's something to keep in mind. I also think humidity is a very big deal, not in the growing aspect as much, but the look aspect. I have noticed that if you don't keep up with the humidity, that's where you tend to get the crispy edges, the yellowing of the leaves, you know, just not as good looking leaves. It's not necessarily that the plant won't grow. It probably would adapt to room humidity eventually. I just like to give it as much. If I have the humidity to give it, I will give it. So that's my philosophy with that. Like I said, live in Florida, so I have the ability to give it humidity without having to run a humidifier. I just keep it outside and let it do its thing. But I would say if you have, you know, a pop-up greenhouse or something like that where you can give it a little bit more of a boost of humidity, I would probably recommend that you do that. You'll get nicer leaves and it'll be so stunning. Other than that, I would say that they're pretty easy. I do think that I personally have gone through a lot of Anthurium that I didn't love, and so I got rid of them. Like, I think it's a cool thing to figure out throughout your plant collecting journey what works for you and what doesn't. And so I have definitely gotten rid of a lot of Anthurium, but I've kept the ones that I absolutely love, which I'm sure you realize throughout my collection how much I love my Anthurium. So yeah, I highly recommend trying out an Anthurium if you never have. I think they're very beautiful. They're very satisfying because they start with that tiny little leaf and then they expand into, like, you know, you don't know what size leaf you're gonna get. So it's really cool to see. Not many plants, you know, in my experience do that. So I think they are just a very cool type of plant to own. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your feedback when it comes to my collection, anything I could be doing to improve it, or any Anthuriums that you recommend. I would love to get a couple more, you know, really cool, unique ones. Like I said, I do make a yearly trip to Ecuagenera. That's where a lot of my Anthurium are from. I'll also post a shop, what is it called? The Green Escape. The Green Escape on Etsy. I've talked about it in the Hoya collection, but I also, a couple of my Anthurium are from there as well. So I will link everything that I can possibly think to link in the description below so that you can see, you know, where I shop for my Anthurium. But I would say it's the majority Ecuagenera, which I know you can buy online as well. I've never shipped their plants. I've only ever bought them in person, but I've had a fantastic experience, you know, buying them in person, so I highly recommend. And yeah, that's about it. I love collection videos because I love being able to see what people have in their collection. It inspires me to try out new types of plants. Like, I probably would have never tried this regale out if I didn't see it on social media. So now it's become one of my favorite plants, and I love seeing it in other people's collection. It's inspired me to get one of my own and to grow it big and happy like other people have in their collection. So I love doing these collection type videos. I probably think I'm gonna do philodendron next. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to think of in terms of how many plants I have. I definitely have a lot of philodendrons, so I think that's going to be next on the list. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything in terms of the growth, anything like that, the care, where I get my plants from, feel free to message me. I am always here and willing to talk about my plants. Alright, you guys, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!